Great, you good?
You're good. Let's call this meeting to order. It is April 9th and it is 4 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. She's got it down there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown,
Here.
Councilman Bowman,
Here.
Councilman Schwab,
Present.
Councilman Trenary,
Here.
Mayor Durham is absent.
Okay. Business item A. Consider approval of resolution 2024-06 opposing House Bill 24-1436 concerning the referral of the ballot issue related to the revenue from the sports betting tax.
Basically covered that pretty well last week.
Somebody's online, last week. We did get a presentation from Saul, a lobbyist, and this is one of the things we talked about. It appears that there's been a bill that's gone through the legislature that would call an election in November, and it would ask the residents or the people of Colorado to vote to sweep any excess revenue from sports betting tax into the water fund, or get returned to casinos. And that's something we've talked about. I don't know if the revenue actually goes to casinos or if it goes to those sports betting, because the casinos have, a lot of them have given up their sports betting to, you know, I guess it's MGM.
I think creek runs in the back, going with these big boys out there.
That's what is still trying to survive.
Who's that?
What's that?
Oh.
The deadline.
I have no idea.
I spent no time on it advertised on the home house game, so.
But remember the local casinos kept their sports betting. I think they all did. Double Eagle, do you know, did they give up their sports betting?
Sports bet that never saw a single bet, or the bar that never served a single drink.
Yeah, that one.
Golden Valley is, they're pretty busy, at sports betting.
What about the kiosks?
But the language in the draft doesn't say casinos, it doesn't say where their prices or anything else, so.
And that's what this resolution says too. You want it read or? You want me to read it or?
Sure.
Does that do? Proposing State House Bill 24-1436 concerning the referral of a ballot issue related to the revenue from sports betting tax, and in connection therewith, referring a ballot issue to the voters to allow the state to keep and spend all sports betting tax revenue in excess of the 29 million estimated increase in state tax revenue approved by the voters in the 2019 for the purpose of funding water conservation and protection projects rather than refunding such excess revenue to casinos. Whereas citizens of Colorado voted to authorize limited gaming, provided such limited gaming was only allowed at Cripple Creek, Central City, and Blackhawk. And whereas the rationale that was used to promote passage of limited gaming laws was that it would enhance and rejuvenate the mountain communities of Cripple Creek, Central City, and Blackhawk, and that such enhancement and rejuvenation was worth the trade-off of a depredating effects on families and communities that go hand in hand with limited gaming. And whereas sports betting, as those who promoted passage of sports betting laws, was that sports betting would be anchored in the same mountain communities of Cripple Creek, Central City, and Blackhawk. And whereas in fact that is incorrect, and the city of Cripple Creek has not benefited in any material way from sports betting due to the fact local casinos sold their rights to major sport betting operators operating outside the city, while at the same time having reduced the number of gaming devices as a result of the COVID pandemic, which device numbers have not materially increased back to pre-COVID numbers. And whereas House Bill 24-1436 further erodes the citizens' trust by asking that the approximately $34 million of unexpected sports betting tax revenue not be allowed to the city, allocated to the city of Cripple Creek or the other mountain communities or the junior colleges, but in fact, all of it goes back to the state. And whereas the state is promoting such an allocation of the $34 million of unexpected sports betting tax revenue by framing the choice as one of giving the $34 million of unexpected sports betting tax revenues back to the state or having it give back to the casinos. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Cripple Creek, Colorado, that City Council of Cripple Creek opposes House Bill 24-1436 as written and rejects the question as framed. The council strongly urges the legislatures to vote no on this proposed bill. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption, adopted by Cripple Creek, Colorado on this day, 2024.
So, any more discussion, any questions?
So was this, did you sit down with Aaron and get this all worked out? Is that how this particular thing came to?
It started last week after a council meeting. She got with me on Friday and I went through quite a bit of it.
I talked with her yesterday to give her all the impacts.
Yes. So I think it was the two of us mainly that gave her information. I think she reached out to Saul, but I think they had problems connecting. And then we got it, I think yesterday, the resolution. So I think she did a pretty good job.
Yep. I'd make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-06.
And I'll second.
Vote?
Councilor Bowman?
Yes.
Councilor Schwab?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Missionary?
Yes,
Mayor Vernon is absent.
Business item number B, consider approval of resolution 2024-05, approving the submittal of a grant to the Strong Communities Grant Program and approve matching funds.
Yeah, I think credit on this one, Mayor Pro Tem. I had been talking to Leslie, our grant writer, about some way to help staff. We were understaffed at the time. We have the $200,000 to update the comp plan and update the part of the comp plan, which is the economic development tourism. We got that from Full House Resorts and the original. Then we applied for the $100,000 from DOLA. The problem we had at the time is I only had Ken and Julie. I think Mariah had started at that time, but she didn't have any experience in updating comp plan. So it was really going to be kind of on me and Ken. And so I asked her to look and see if there was any grants available that we could hire a consultant that would help us through the process. So the other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with this is when you look at your comprehensive plan, you really need to look at your development codes, because if you don't, you can't have your development codes in conflict with the new comp plan. So what she did, she wrote a grant to the Strong Communities Grant Program that asked for a total of $99,000. I think $75,000 of it goes to hiring a consultant to help us through the kind of push the comp plan along with the consultants we hire. And then $35,000 of it was to look at the development codes. Once we kind of get to the end of the comp plan, to kind of look at development codes and make sure everything's lined up. So the grant is for, the total is $110,000. It'd be $99,000 from Strong Communities and $11,000 match, which takes council action to approve. It went right over my head after I advised her to put the grant together. She wrote it, she submitted it. Last week, I get an email from the lady, very nice. She called me. We had a lot of conversation about everything that was going on. And then after that, she said, well, I'll email you if I come up with another one. When she comes up with another question, has the council approved this? And I'm going, no. So yeah, Salvatore's eating crow. Anyway, she says, not a problem. Cities do this all the time, so I don't feel as bad. So anyway, that's why I asked the council to call a special meeting to approve the resolution authorizing the submittal of the grant and approving the $11,000 match. So that actually gives us, if approved, gives us $310,000 to update the comp plan, the urban, economic development, tourism side of the comp plan, hiring a consultant to help us and update the development codes.
So we've already been approved with the 200,000 or 100,000, the other 100,000, and now this is looking at like another 110 to kind of update what those are gonna.
And to hire the consultant to help push it along. If not, if you remember part of what Dan put in the memo, Dan Lee, he put in the memo that he wants this to be separate and he really doesn't want it to go at the same time. He wants, if possible, to hire a separate consultant that pushes this along. He wants the economic development tourism done as quickly as possible. So one of the priorities of this person, once we hire, it'll be to push that. Staff will be there to help. I just don't know that staff has the capability to, but it's setting up meetings with the public, getting the consultants here, having all of that input on the different phases of the comp plan is what it's about.
Is enough money for a consultant? Because we don't really know how long this is going to take.
The comp plan itself, we got the contract back from the state, either the end of last week or it could have been Monday. It's been signed, so the $100,000 grant from DOLA is, and we have a timeline. It's a 2-year timeline. So most comp plans take about that long, 1.5 years, except, and if we can push this economic development tourism faster, maybe a year is what Dan Lee would like. And I don't disagree with him. I think we need to look at that pretty extensively, get input from the community. Everybody thinks because Dan Lee and Full House Resorts made the 100,000 that he's going to drive that. No. We want all the casinos to be involved and we want all of the public to be involved. And that's what a comp plan is. It's to have these meetings and get community input. He's put the money up to do it, but he won't drive the results of the study. We'll be driven by the public and we want public input.
Is there any idea timeline when we'll know if this is going to happen? Or when the grant? We don't know the grant.
She sounded pretty positive. She didn't give me a date, but once I get this to her, I'll kind of ask her, but I need to get this into her tomorrow.
Right.
We'll scan it in and I'll send it to her. Hopefully she'll be able to give me some time. So where we're at right now with that, Caitlin Quander, she's with the legal firm that is working with Full House Resorts. They asked her to put together the RFP, request for proposals for the consultant for the economic development tourism section. We have that. Ken has been out. I've asked Leslie if she would write the comp plan for the rest of the comp plan update, the RFP, with the addition, hopefully, that we get the 35,000 to upgrade so she's going ahead and writing that in like we're going to get it. So what happens then is once I get that RFP from Leslie, we'll review it as staff, but both of us have to go back to DOLA. They have to approve them. So we'll send the RFPs into them. We'll make any changes they recommend, and then we'll put it on council agenda for council to call for the RFPs for both. And then we'll send them out to consultants and we'll get them back. We'll review them, make recommendations. And I would like, they're putting $100,000, so I'm going to give them the option to be on that grading committee for that section. But since they're putting up the money, I think they ought to be able to look at the RFPs and make their recommendation, but ultimately it'll be a council decision on who we hire for both those.
Just to get this going as
Absolutely.
soon as possible.
Yeah, so
It's up to DOLA.
So we've got to go through those steps. DOLA sends the requirements that they have for the comp plan, because they have certain requirements by state law that have to be included in the comp plan. So I've sent those to Leslie and I sent them to Caitlin. So when they were writing the RFPs, they should have included those things, but DOLA still gets the final review before it goes to council. So we still have those 2 steps to cover, but yes, I want to get them on the council. Call for RFPs as soon as possible. So absolutely, that's kind of where we're at.
So that being said, I think Jared should make a motion.
That is always me.
Cause you're active, he just
Is
was.
there any other questions or anybody have any questions? Okay, who's gonna make the motion? I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-05.
I'll second it.
Let's vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Trenary,
Yes,
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Councilman Schwab.
Yes.
Okay, that's all we have on the agenda for today. Thanks everybody for showing up. Have a good day. It was adjourned.
you know,